What's up, YouTube? This is True Raw for TV. So, look, man, it's no secret that I've always been a big fan of Russell Westbrook. I'm one of maybe 1,000 people on planet Earth that have been a fan of his over the years. And when you look at how badly he struggled with the Lakers, and a lot of the things that people have been saying over the years about him, you know, I'm a person that believes in accountability. Computer, shut the fuck up. I'm a person that believes in accountability, and I'm looking at this season, man, and how badly he struggled, and I have to say, man, maybe you know people like me, maybe we contributed to what Russell Westbrook became. You know what I'm saying? And I'll explain what I mean by this. Um, I remember when Kevin Durant got hurt. I think it was toward the end of the 2014-15 season, I think it was. And Russell Westbrook had to take on more of an offensive duty. He had to lead the team. Now, um, he took over. He had a lot of big scoring games. He had like a little streak where he had like a lot of triple doubles and whatnot, and he got a lot of buzz behind that. And I think that stuck with Russ. The next year, 2015-16, is when you saw like a lot more friction between the two. Sometimes Westbrook would take more shots. Um, you know, and ultimately, for whatever, Kevin Durant felt like he couldn't win with him. Now, me at the time, it's in my nature to root for underdog. I don't root for like people who are stacked. That's one thing you'll notice about me. I don't like rooting for overly super stacked team. Ain't no fun in rooting for a team that going to win. Everybody else rooting for them. So the way I looked at it like KD did them niggas dirty. He just left them, left all of them. So I was like, fuck KD. So I automatically started rooting for Russell Westbrook. He's being left alone to try to take care of business, try to lead a franchise. So I was rooting for him. And, he started getting all these triple doubles at a miraculous rate. And, you know, some of us started praising him for behind those performances. Man, he's getting all these triple doubles. He's playing hard. And, the team isn't that great, but they did better than expected. And he's doing something we hadn't seen in 55 seasons. The great Oscar Robertson, the big O, he has a triple double. That's supposed to be the sign of a great all around player. And maybe we all put too much stock in the triple double. Maybe we put too much praise on that. And it's been, quite honestly, you could argue it's been a bad thing for the league because now you got all these guys, at least up until this season, all these guys all of a sudden Harden, Jokic, Doncic, LeBron started trying to do it more. It was a negative impact on the game. People started rooting and analyzing players based upon that, and not about just who's a shot maker and who's clutch and who makes the big baskets. It was more about gaudy stats and numbers. And maybe, you know, I was pushing that too much with him. But another thing that a lot of us who root for Russell Westbrook, maybe something that we did, not intentionally, is the whole triple double thing. It got his focus off of trying to be a better basketball player. He also relied way too much on his athleticism. This was something I always noticed about him, and I knew that this was going to shorten his career because look, Russell Westbrook is one of the most athletic point guards we've ever seen. But this season we're seeing athletically, he has deteriorated. He's fallen apart. You know, the dunks, the spectacular drives that he used to be able to get off. He's lost a little bit of his burst. He doesn't have the hops he once did, and now um, a lot of his lack of fundamentals are becoming more exposed. Maybe we should have been pushing him. Maybe we should have been criticizing him earlier. You know, um, he's a guy that never really been coached. He's never really been scrutinized um, to the degree that he probably should have, and I've always felt a need to defend him because I thought he got too much negative press. But there are times when he's been nasty to the media for no reason in the past. And like I said before, man, when you treat the media like shit, they will kick you when you're down. And we're seeing it right now. They did it to Kyrie Irving, and they're doing it unmercilessly to Russell Westbrook right now. And look, I from the get go, I thought it was a bad idea of him going over there. He was a terrible fit for a team with LeBron James. I knew that all of his negatives would be put on a magnifying glass. None of his positives would be praised, especially if the Lakers were losing. And as we sit right now, they're 21-21. And if anything, their schedule is going to get harder. So if anything, unless they make drastic changes to this roster, they're going to go into a hole. By that I mean they're going to be sub 500. And if they trade Russell Westbrook, the way that his stock has plummeted now, he's going to have one of the most amazing, and I don't mean amazing in a good way. I mean in a head shaking like, oh my God, one of the most amazing falls from grace that we've seen from a great player. Because I still believe he's a great player. He still has accomplishments that people can't take away from him. You know, multiple time All Star, over 22,000 career points. He's one of the greatest rebounding guards we've seen in the history of this league. Whether or not you think he tried to, steal him or whatever, he still got him. You know, but his play has never. Um, you just have to go with what you see, man. His play has never transcended to championship basketball, man. And like I said before, maybe I put too much stock on his triple doubles. But I will say this though: when Russell Westbrook was in his prime, he was one of the most exciting players in basketball. He was a show. Now that I will never relinquish. I should say. I will never relinquish uh, my position that I thought he was one of the most exciting players to watch. But excitement don't always lead to championships. Look, Nolan Ryan was one of the greatest pitchers of all time, but he never won a championship. His win-loss record was barely above 500, and he had a lot of flaws. Now he corrected some of those flaws toward the end, but at one point in time, he was one of the wildest pitchers in history. You know, he had 2,795 walks, far and away the most walks of all time. He's the strikeout leader, but he's also the walks leader by a huge margin. What I'm saying is Russell Westbrook will be remembered as a great player, but one of the most flawed NBA players that we've ever seen. And those flaws have caught up with him. And now they've superseded his greatness, and now he's seen as a liability. And I know a lot of people don't have no sympathy for him. I have sympathy for him, bro, a little bit. I have sympathy for him because I don't like to see people. I don't like to see anybody just fall apart like this as a basketball player. And it's not just the physical scars. I think emotionally, this season has taken a toll on him, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's out the league in 2 years, either by force or by choice. But tell me what you guys think.